I hit that microphone one more time, I think we're all going to blow up, Tiz.
It sounded like it.
Hey, welcome back. This is Todd, Baxter, Monroe County Sheriff in Rochester, New York. Our podcast is called Behind the Badge because we try and share stories of who's working behind this badge, what makes them tick, who are there as human beings. Today we got a couple great folks from our training division, if you will, temporarily assigned, and we'll talk about that. But first of all, cutting edge, latest breaking news. The Bills just lost their offensive coordinator. Did you see that?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Last night's game was a little scary, and this will be old news by the time we get this podcast out there, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of scuttlebutt between them, but literally just broke as I was walking through the door.
So a lot of you Bills fans out there, be easy.
Be easy.
Like they always say, this next year.
Oh, you're going that way already? They're 500, man. This might be the rebound we've been looking for. And you had a win again this week, I see, the Steelers?
Yeah. Pittsburgh Steelers, they're on top of the AFC North. I'm an excited man, not just excited for my Steelers, but the holidays are rolling around. And, as you know, we said in the podcast, I've got a football team for my grandkids. I got 12 grandkids.
Yeah, you do.
I hate the holidays.
He could field the team. Yeah, actually, you could put all 12 on the field like the Bills did last night and
yeah.
miss a field,
get a flag.
Get a flag on a losing field goal, right? So hey, you could field that team. Oh, man, it was difficult.
Yeah.
It was difficult. But I'm optimistic. I'm like, this is too much talent on that field not to be firing at all cylinders. So once they get going again, hopefully they're going to be driving the ball forward. But we'll see. I think we have a New Orleans fan amongst us today, we might talk about that today.
I read that. That's scary. It's a new added to the mix. I never seen a New Orleans Saints fan.
Yeah, we might talk about his old coach who beat us up last night. So we'll talk about that. But with that, he's a rookie. He's a recruit. So he's very perishable. So I'm sure he's not going to talk much today, much smack, but maybe when he's off probation. But so we are talking about our recruit class. And if you haven't picked up on that, we have Deputy Story. He's a recruit class counselor. We want to talk about that position. And then one of our recruits sitting in the gray uniform here and talk about the experience of a recruit and happens to be our class captain, which is a leadership position inside the recruit academy phase. So Deputy Story, how about a little bit about yourself, who you are, what makes you tick, and how long you've been on the job, that type of thing.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
Deputy Bill Story, been on the job for coming up on 18 years. It was almost 18 years ago. I was in Ray's shoes, never the class captain, but a recruit just like everybody else. Done my entire career with the Jail Bureau. Held a few positions within the Jail Bureau. Worked the floors of the jail for many years. Also was the coordinator of our jail intelligence unit for a few years. And most recently been the class counselor for Class 52 and Class 53. When this time wraps up, I'll be moving into the role of training coordinator.
That's awesome.
So I'll get to see the hiring side of getting these recruits into the academy.
Yeah, and it's a busy place right now. Is people that know me professionally, I'm a nut about training, and we just don't do enough. We don't give these guys and gals that are doing the job every day enough training. So we're building out our training unit as we speak, more manpower, another sergeant going to that position. So really trying to push training forward. So it's great you're going to end up there.
I'm very happy I am. I've always been very passionate about training, been involved with firearms, DT, RBT, even things CPR, but on all ends of the spectrum of training. And I've always been a big advocate of we don't rise to our expectations. Right. We fall back to our training.
Exactly.
So without training, we can't expect to do the things we need to do.
We see it in professional sports. We see it wherever stress hits the fan, you see people revert back to their training. Right?
Yeah, and it's something to see right now. People don't realize the position that you're holding right now as class counselor. And a lot of people looking from the outside, they don't realize what all goes into, once you do the background check, once you do ABCD, now you come to that next level to where now I'm sitting in the classroom and I got this guy walking around, which is you.
With that deep, raspy voice.
Yeah. with that radio voice, and you're like, you know what, did I make the right decision? But like I said, it's a commitment, and it's something that it's a brotherhood, a commitment, and it's something that once you get through it, you'll see something that you accomplished. And I mean, you're holding a good position right there, being that class counselor.
Class counselor is one of those positions that I think every recruit coming through the academy looks at their class counselor as this enigmatic figure that they hope to be like someday. So for me, it is fantastic that I was able to get the opportunity to be in this role. Because part of this role is I get to build my own partner.
Yeah.
For us,
You're
in the
bold.
field we're in, you're always going to go back to the job in one way, shape, or form. So you get to create and bring out all these good things in someone so that when you work alongside them, they're the person you want to be working with. It's huge.
I got to do 3 classes, and it was one of the best times of my 36-year now career. Just you know, you're a father figure, you're a counselor, class counselor, right? You're mentoring, you're coaching, you're guiding, you're a drill sergeant sometimes. I mean, you got to be it all, a jack of all
Many,
trades.
many hats.
As
every
recruits
day.
go through this life experience, and it's all consuming, you know, there's a lot of background noise that you got to help them manage through and work through, let alone become a cop. You know, it's twofold. So it's a great position. It really is.
Great position. Every day, back and forth. Love it, hate it. Love it,
Yeah,
hate
yeah.
it. Yeah,
It's way
going
too much
back
work
and
too.
forth.
Like, and then the sit in the gray uniform. We all been there. We remember that day, and we got the fine recruit deputy in here going to share his experience. But more importantly, how about just a quick introduction of who you are and what makes you tick as a human being?
Thank you, sir. So I'm recruit Deputy Rivera. You know, what makes me tick as a human being, I guess, is the motivation of, you know, being on my own since I was 19 years old, straight out of college. I got an apartment with my girlfriend, and it was kind of way in college and a job together. You're trying to figure out life at 19 years old. It's kind of hard. So after that, I did Fisher for 2 years while I was working at the car wash in Henrietta. And then from there, I kind of stopped going to college and focused more on working and then trying to figure out what was the best path for me. So I guess what makes me tick is my girlfriend and my future kid.
Yeah.
So
you got one on the way, right?
Yep.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's epic, man. And the thing about it is, like you said, there's a lot of people that it's all coincides. We talk to recruitment as well, and that next level after recruitment, and once you get in, and it's like you said, you thought that whole process of just getting recruited. That you said that might be it. That's the easy part.
Yeah.
I thought.
Until you get in. I mean, so what was your first thought coming in and sitting down, like you said, and you're seeing this imposing figure, of course, with that radio voice, sitting over there telling you guys what's going on. Did you go home that first night and say, did I make the right decision?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I actually did. I did. So first time was downtown. We were just in formation. Didn't know how to get into formation at all. We see Deputy Story come off the elevator, and the first thought in my mind was, "Wow, okay, this is serious. This is the real deal." Then we get down there to the public training facility, and it's kind of like you do your first PT session, and you go as hard as you think you're going, and you're giving it all, and then they're like, "No, there's more you have to give. You know, put more effort in, keep fighting." And it's like, you get home, you lay on that couch, you're like, all right, another couple of weeks of this, I don't know.
I still got to study, too.
Yeah.
I still got to study.
That's the physical draining part.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing experience because what we're trying to do is take someone that has no idea what they're going to get yourself into, like you said, Tiz, and mold them into someone that is in a paramilitary unit, right? They can follow directions, can jump how high when told to jump. Yet the other side, and here's the secret to the science of class, we also got to teach you maybe compassion, empathy for people that don't have anything in life, maybe even empathy and compassion for inmates, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what you're going to be dealing with daily. Interpersonal communication skills, all this. You got a baby on the way. You got a girlfriend at home, high school sweetheart. I mean, the pressure is overwhelming in the academy. It's intentional. It's very intentional because we're not giving that badge away for free. We'll never give that thing away. I got too many friends that worked way too hard, got too many bullet holes in their body, got too many broken noses, out and never coming back to work because of injuries. So you got to earn it. It's a process, but it's a weird process because we got to mold you into a paramilitary, highly trained, highly skilled, disciplined individual with tons of empathy and compassion.
Yeah.
It's really a quite unique environment.
Yeah,
and they do well.
You were bestowed with the class captain. So, tell me, what goes into a class captain? What does a class captain do?
So I got 9 people that are under me. Basically what I do is relay messages that I get from Deputy Story, give it to them, and honestly make sure that we perform our best in front of him and people and represent ourselves the best we can by basically ironing our uniforms, shining our brass, shining our boots, making sure our hair is groomed, even though,
You do a good job.
You
know?
Beautiful.
Thank you.
You guys got a support club or something? What's going on here?
It's honestly, it's weird because when you're a class captain, you got a 52-year-old and a 45-year-old who have way more life experience than you. And you got to go up to them and tell them, hey, your brass isn't shined, your boots aren't shined enough, you got to go buy new boots, you got to go do this. And you're 22 years old, you're telling a grown man who's been through so much life what to do. Right. And he's like, you're just like me. This doesn't change anything. We both got gray uniforms on. It's kind of, all right, well, what are we going to do? Once we get to FTO, we both become deputies. So I'm just trying to help you out for the future. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough position, and we'll talk more about that. But that's leadership. That's 360-degree leadership. Maxwell talks about that. We teach it here at the sheriff's office all the time. You don't have to have rank to lead, right? And if people can't follow, they're not going to be a good leader in the future, right? So it doesn't matter if they got a subject matter expert. I walk through the jail right now. I go into the courthouse where Tiz works. I know nothing. I've never turned a key in my life, right? I mean, I'd be the biggest fool in the world to tell people, get out of my way and let me show you how to do this, right? So even the sheriff can subordinate himself. Doesn't mean he gives up anything. But that's a great point on leadership, that 360 model. But that went off on a tangent for leadership. We always do this. But going back to the class counselor. So
the role of class counselor,
yeah.
Like we talked about, there's a wide variety of hats you have to wear. And those hats can change at a moment's notice, everything we do. Everything from our morning formation to people's personal problems. Because obviously coming into a job like this, an academy, such a strenuous environment, everybody still has to take care of everything at home. Because for most people, that's part of why we're here, is to take care of the family at home. So that home time sometimes is filled with brass shining, boot shining, stretching, eating, still trying to get enough sleep because we've got PT sessions. So helping the recruits not only learn the things they need to do to perform at their job, learning them how to find a good balance in life is something I've found is a big part of the process. We talk every afternoon about what's our evening plan, prepare our lunches, do our laundry, get our things shined. What do we have tomorrow? We got to make sure our PT gear is fresh. And I've always been a big advocate of the recruits involving the family in that process. Study with the family. If you've got a girlfriend at home, if you've got kids at home that are doing their homework, you can sit there and study along with them. So the guidance that comes along with the class counselor really takes up the majority of the time. And then there's the behind-the-scenes things that the recruits don't see, the scheduling, the confirming that we have instructors, that we have at areas at the academy. We've done off-site PT that we have to coordinate. And then looking further out, preparing for things like the graduation ceremony, getting them ready to go on to FTO, things that early on in the academy we're already projecting further out. So there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. Like I said, it was a great learning tool. I did it as at an officer level or deputy level. And man, those leadership skills, the supervisor skills, the management skills you're learning is
I felt like I was learning at the same pace the recruits were because it's something you've never done before. To get thrown into it, there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
A lot of failures, a lot of successes. But you learn from all of them.
And it doesn't feel like a captain, I'm sure, but our whole job as a class counselor is to get through the academy, right? There makes no sense to go through that whole background check Tiz mentioned. It's expensive to hire you. It's very expensive. There's a lot of time, energy, money put into hiring a recruit. And then to wash them out of the academy makes absolutely no financial sense, no management sense. We need personnel, right? So it makes no sense there. But sometimes it doesn't feel like that. I'm sure it feels like everybody's against you and they're just trying to crush you. But that's, again, intentional. But his whole sole job is to find each person as an individual and build them up into a deputy sheriff.
Build them up to a deputy sheriff, and we get 16 weeks to absolutely bring out the best and maximize your capabilities in that short amount of time. Right. Through that hiring process, the sheriff, the recruitment unit, our administration, the executive command, they look at everybody that wants this job. They pick out the best and brightest for this job.
I was talking to a young person today at a coffee shop. He's trying to be a deputy sheriff. And I'm like, hey, when it comes down to selection day, I'm going to see 20 names and I got 10 positions. It's all about me at that moment, right? I'm building the best team. I'm like the Steelers. I'm going for what I need. It gets personal. That's the moment I get very personal, right? Like I'm bringing the 10 best. Why wouldn't you, so there's going to be 10 people not getting hired. But that's, we're going for the cream of the crop, whatever's left. So congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It wasn't easy, trust me. You had lots of competition. Oh, yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, you get the thought process of people not knowing what goes into the daily life of going into an academy. Somebody who's just saying, okay, you know what, like he said, I'm interested. What's the daily rigmarole of what I have to do? I mean, you know what I mean? Because like you said, you got to put family behind you. Not behind you, but they're there, but you got to focus. And like you said, that focus is like that horse with that blinders on. You know what I mean? Yep. You got to look straight, do what you're told. But what's like a daily thing for a young recruit like yourself coming into the academy?
It depends. It honestly depends on the day and the week and what we were going through. But so a daily routine would be I would get up, put my PT gear on if it was a PT day.
Physical fitness training for those non-acronym people out there.
Right.
So we would get ready for that. We'd go in, make sure everybody was organized in the classroom. If somebody forgets their sweatshirt and it's cold outside, we're all running with just T-shirts and shorts on. So that's kind of where your communication.
Uniformity.
Yep. Yeah. Communication comes in the morning at 5:30 in the morning. We're texting everybody, hey, don't forget your sweatshirt. And they still forget it.
Yeah.
They still forget it, though.
And you're all in T-shirts because that's the uniform of the day now.
So you go out there, you run, you go on the grinder, you do some push-ups, sit-ups, you jumping jacks, go run 1.5 miles, maybe 3 miles, depending on, how we're looking. You go back inside, take a shower, get ready for the day, get in the classroom. Then from the classroom, it all depends on what's on the second half of the day. We could have DT, classroom.
Defensive tactics, hand-to-hand combat.
Defensive tactics,
Yep.
And those are the hard days. You got PT, DT, wake up in the morning, do PT again if you have remedial, and then classroom, next day DT. So it all depends on, how much heart you really want, because at one point we're doing all that in a week. And that's really what a recruit does. You're working out all day, and learning in the classroom is very minimal.
Yeah, and I like to describe it as we're paying you to be a professional athlete, right? You're paying to work. We're paying you to work out. It's not a bad deal if you think about it like that. I'm like, so let's put a silver lining on that. You're getting paid to work out. We're providing a gym for you. We're providing great instructors that are highly motivated for your personal development, and we're going to pay you to work out. You're a professional athlete. Can't beat the heck out of that.
First time in my life.
I feel the best.
And then you got to look at it this way too. There are a lot of people out there. They're saying, you know what? They're looking at the class counselor. This guy that comes in with that sultry voice of yours. And then you got the guy with the beautiful eyebrows. You come in and somebody's wondering to themselves, why should I be a jail deputy?
Let me field this one because Ray's almost there. For me, it's a rewarding job. It's a good paying job. It's a secure job. And it's a job that is always, always interesting. After 18 years, there is still things I see new all the time when I walk in that building. And care and custody is our primary focus in the jail. And that care and custody, for me, isn't just for the individuals that come through our doors. We have people that come through our doors that have made a mistake, have made a poor decision. But along with those people is a family, is friends, is other members of this community. So when we talk about care and custody, running this building isn't just for the people that we house. These people all have parents, siblings, friends, all that need to come to their visits, need to come to their court dates. It's our job to see these people through this experience. And that experience takes on many different forms for many different people. And some you do get to see the good side of. Others you never will. Yeah. But it's always a job that demands your attention, compassion, understanding, all while balancing that with being in a position of authority.
Yeah, you think about the jail, and again, being a road guy my whole life, and then inherent in jail when I won the election. You got Arthur Shawcross set in those walls, right? Killed 11 ladies, probably more, but killed 11 ladies, convicted of that murder. Killed 2 kids up in Watertown before that. Just probably the most ruthless person I've ever seen. Walking around with people that just did very stupid things and maybe never had a break in their life, and they're making poor decisions. They got to do your crime, do your time. I got absolutely no problem with it. But I was in our loop. I was in our parking lot one day, and I'm driving through, and there was someone that shouldn't have been there, right? I could see that. So I stopped and say, hey, what are you guys doing in this restricted area? And it was a little girl. She was graduating from kindergarten. And they could see Dad through the windows, right? And they just came to show Dad a sign, she graduated. And it was that, I let him stay in the parking lot because I can't beat that. And for the rehabilitation of the inmate, he cares that much. They coordinate like a military operation to be in the parking lot at this time. I'll be able to see you and just get a glimpse of my daughter graduating from kindergarten, So that's powerful stuff. That's what you get to do for a living. Yeah. You get to guard out the Shawcross and never let that animal back on the roads to kill another person, right? And at the same time, you got some guy that's, do your time. I got no problem with it. But he's just dying to see his little girl. Yeah, that's precious. That's hard work. That's very hard work.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about it too as well is it helps you try to deal with people from different backgrounds, people from different mindsets. And a lot of that goes into the jail because, like we said, on any given day you get an influx of people from wide variety of different types of situations.
Every walk of life, every path comes through that building on both sides of the bars. Yeah. We have a very, very diverse culture in law enforcement, and we see that throughout our academies. And same thing on the other side of the bars. Very, very
interesting.
Yeah.
Great point. Great point. So is this where we talk about the New Orleans Saints, or is we're going to leave that alone?
We are 5-5. The Bills are 5-5. So
yeah, your coach looked good. Your ex-coach looked good last night.
Russell Wilson looked kind of better. That's
man, he was looking good last night.
The rollout touchdown to Cortland Sutton.
Oh my God, it was
touched up.
Yeah, I called it out of bounds as soon as I saw it, and then we looked at the replay. Wow, it was like a magic show. He got it.
I think 3 turnovers kind of ruined the Bills in that situation.
Yeah, that's not helpful. I'm not a stat guy, but I think that hurts the stats a little bit. That hurts. You're a football guy, right?
Yeah. Well, for winning it does. Well, let me ask you. I just want to ask you a question about what do you consider something that's unique about Class 53?
Wow. Okay. So Class 53 is we're diverse, very diverse. Most diverse people have probably been around because when you come from a city school to this, it's kind of like 45-year-olds, 52-year-old to an 18-year-old. 10 people, different ages, and we come together all different ages to push each other to the best of the ability. So that's what 53 is. When you got somebody who's 52 who comes up to the 18-year-old kid and he's like, hey, you got to tuck in your shirt. We got to look professional. The 18-year-old kid doesn't, in his mind, he doesn't understand, like, why? Why do I got to tuck my shirt? Why do I be professional? This is the type of job we have. You're representing the sheriff. He's 52 years old. He's giving him life experience. And that's kind of what we do as a group. We just push each other at all different ages. That's why I love it.
Yeah, and that 18-year-old has something to offer to the 52-year-old.
Exactly.
Right? That's called teamwork right there. That's called diversity. We talk about diversity all the time. We need a certain number of people. We need to match the area we're policing. Don't disagree with any of that. But what it really does is just make this ultimately powerful team when you diversify an organization, right? It just that 18-year-old's teaching that 54-year-old or 53-year-old, right? They got something to offer. And if we open ourselves up, you can say, it's a good point, young man. Now, how do I turn on my cell phone again?
Exactly. Yep. Yes.
How do I download that? And then vice versa. Hey, been there, done that. I got the SCAR T-shirt. You might not want to do that. I've tried that with my boss. That didn't work. 20 years ago, it didn't work. It ain't gonna work today. So, that's called diversity. That's the power of diversity that people don't get.
Yeah, and I told him it was a fresh thing to see a young recruit coming into the podcast, checking him out, seeing the mindset, and I love what I seen. Like you guys picking phenomenal individuals to work in the jail, work with the sheriff's department, and this is what it's all about. And like we said, because that kind of breathes outwardly towards the community is how you deal with situations. Because like you said, that same individual later on might straighten themselves out, and I've seen it to where these guys, I'll see a jail dep, and they'll come up and shake his hand and be like, "Hey, how you doing, brother? Thanks or whatever." Because it's all about how you deal with situations, and a lot of it starts at the beginning, which is the academy.
Yep, starts right from day one. How you conduct yourself in that academy is all done by design, because that's how you conduct yourself inside that building.
So we threw a lot of acronyms out earlier: PT, DT, ABTR, TCCC. Story was on a roll there for people at home looking them up online. So you start out the day with physical training, PT. Most people are going, physical therapy? Wow, he's injured. And then you go into classrooms and you got to study these modules of instruction, whether it's penal law or criminal procedure law or use of force, justification of use of force, Article 35 of the penal law, right? All this just bombarding you with information. You got tests, you got spelling tests. Still do spelling tests?
Spelling's very important. Yeah, spelling was a struggle early on.
Yeah. Still do spelling tests. It's like back in grade school almost, right? Like spell, Irondequoit. Spell it right, and they're literally home studying the criminal procedure law and the penal law and the vehicle traffic law, and at the same time they're studying keywords that we always screw up. Sheriff might be one. Make sure you can spell it right. But that's. And then you got to go into defensive tactics, or you got to go to firearms. You got to run stress courses on firearms. That academy experience is just non-ending. And then you got to go home, take a nap, entertain the significant other for a while, pretend you're interested, right? Like, honey, I just got to shine my boots and go to take a nap. It's all designed to mold an individual into a team member. It's all designed to mold an individual into a law enforcement officer, right? Into a servant. And not everybody comes with those attributes. And so we get the ultimate thing. But really, I just want to emphasize, at the end of the day, I'm going to look at the deputy historian and go, do you want that person working next to you for the next 20 years, right? That's the ultimate. And if we don't, we have the probationary period. It's not to threaten anybody. It's like we need to take advantage of that probationary period, because I got the ultimate ability to get rid of an employee that I don't want, that didn't meet the muster. And we don't. It's not our goal by any means, but that's another check and balance system is holding. What if we put someone through that grinder of the academy and they just refuse to, to step up to the plate and show their mettle? they could very well be gone the next day. There's no union protection. There's no civil service protection. And I just want to emphasize that to people that these guys are going through that ultimate over their head, like, wow, I gave up everything to come to this academy, and I could be gone in a moment's notice with a signature from the sheriff, unemployed tomorrow with my kid on the way. And it's not the threat. It's just that's how exclusive this is. You see law enforcement officers do silly things once in a while across America, but the selection process, the academy, the probationary periods, all designed. We got someone that meets the medal of being a law enforcement officer to earn that badge.
Yeah, we've had many conversations, the class and I, about
just like that. Good.
Just like that. Yeah. The academy is the ultimate opportunity. Ultimate opportunity. Everybody shows up on day one, and it is theirs for the taking.
Yeah, and at the other end of it, we'll give your life. I'll give my life for you, and you give my life for me. There's zero doubt in my mind, right? 100%. That you would, if I came down with cancer, you'd be at my house mowing my lawn, right? We just had a dear captain. We're going to his wake today, pass away. The family that came and blew. And we'll be there forever. It's just that's what you're inheriting with all this turmoil you're going through. What I can guarantee is you got 800 brothers and sisters. You got 1,000 brothers and sisters that would jump on a hand grenade for you. That's pretty cool. That's a great organization to be part of.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And like we said, again, it starts back with the academy, and that's why they're showing you guys that bonding. If somebody doesn't wear their hat, nobody wears their hat. Somebody doesn't, they forget their gloves, everybody forgets their gloves.
Yep.
Yeah, and like you said, you build off of that, and that's how you take your career. It's like you protect your other, and he protects you, and that's how that chain keeps going, brother. So, like I said, I would love for anyone who's thinking about getting to the sheriff's department. I believe this is a phenomenal thing to do. Like you said, retirement and everything else that's out there that goes along with it, and just meeting your fellow man and doing things for the community, and it's a great thing. And working alongside a guy like this, what I mean?
Can you say that again, please? Just lean in closer to the mic when you say that, in case my wife is listening. Awesome. Well, we're almost done, guys. So appreciate you coming on. We finish up this podcast with the No Miranda Zone. Sure, you learned about Miranda in the academy. Have you learned it?
We learned yesterday.
You got the right to remain silent, right?
Yep.
Nope. I'm the sheriff, so this is the No Miranda Zone. You got to answer my questions. Okay. Remember, you're on probation, so we're just gonna. Both of you, by the way. Right. We're going to throw questions at you. And so I know your favorite football team. Deputy Story, what's your favorite football team?
I'm the odd man out here. I'm not a sports guy.
Next question, please.
I got one for you.
Okay.
Think. Hard or soft taco?
Hard.
Hard taco?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was quite
soft.
Soft? There we go. You see, we're having family night. We're having tacos family night. That's awesome. That's God. What's the last book you read?
Old Man in the Sea.
Really? Most recently? Or is that back in high school?
2 weeks ago.
That's so funny. I was thinking about reading that the other day. I was like, I never really sat down. I remember skimming it in high school.
That's exactly why I did it. I'd never.
Was it worth your time?
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Short read.
Yeah.
Only like 127 pages.
That's excellent. That's my pace. Last book?
The David Goggins book, but I didn't read it. I listened to it on the auditory. So
just to be full disclosure, when I say read, because of my eyes nowadays, it's I'll listen to a book on tape easy and say I read it.
It's motivational.
Yeah, you get a lot done. What'd you learn out of it?
Honestly, just push yourself to the limits. Never don't give up on yourself, because physically you can go farther.
Go further.
Yeah.
That's all right. I like that.
Works a lot.
Favorite TV show of all time?
All time.
Well, you're only 22, so it can't be. You don't have to go back too far, right?
I mean, all time, it's hard to say. It's so many of them, but you got like Law and Order and Criminal Minds.
There you go.
It's a good show. I like that.
Yeah.
Never stops.
The Shield from FX back in the early 2000s.
That's a good show. I used to watch that. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
I've never watched either one.
Oh.
Never watched. I can't do anything related to the job when I'm off. I'm like, I'll go home and watch some silly comedy and just laugh at stupid. That's what I do. Yeah. It's like working in a pizza shop and going to have pizza. I don't want no part of it. I'm like, I love pizza, but you made it all day. Yeah. Made it all day. All right. You're going to go someplace on vacation. Money's not an object. Where are you going?
Hawaii.
Hawaii?
Yeah.
You been?
No.
Nope. Great.
Bahamas.
Yeah?
Yep.
Have you been?
No.
No?
I've been to Hawaii, but not Bahamas.
Oh, really? See?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. That's awesome. How about you?
Favorite place? I like the Bahamas.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love it. I want to go on a cruise, actually.
We had a chance to go over to Europe this summer, and we went to Sicily, and we went to France, and all this stuff you're supposed to. And then we went to Prague. Prague was it. The Republic of Czech. If anybody ever goes to Europe, in Eastern Europe, go to Prague. It's beautiful, it's stunning, and it's cheap. And
wow.
Yeah, it's old, Eastern Europe, but no one ever goes to Prague. Now I'm pushing them to get tourism money out of this. Go to Prague. Okay, I guess.
If enough of us go, you get the free trip.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I like the stand stuff. I got to get something out of this. Well, guys, thanks for joining us. Really a precious time we get to spend with folks that do the real job of deputy sheriff. Whether you're in the gray or in the blue for 18 years, it doesn't matter. You're family. So welcome.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Make sure your comrades out there understand that they're here for a reason. They were highly selected. They're going to be highly trained. They're part of a team that's second to none, and it's just great. And then having mentors like this gentleman across from us, it's a pretty cool way to build an organization.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor.
Till next week, folks, be safe.